Welcome back to Coffee and Curves. Today I have another special guest with me and a special topic. So instead of speaking directly with a member, I have Macie Lee with me, our programs manager here at Curves, and we're going to be specifically talking about the benefits of strength training. There are so many benefits to strength training, but before we get started, I want to tell you a little bit about our podcast. If you have never joined us before, we have some great guests that come on here. So just a little background about what this podcast is about. So at Curves, we know that figuring out how to make healthy habits stick can feel challenging and even overwhelming, especially when you're trying to juggle life, family, work, and everything else that matters to you. Support, motivation, and being surrounded by a community of women with similar goals is so important for long-term success. The Coffee and Curves podcast focuses on real conversations with real Curves women that have made positive changes to their health. We will also have special segments with friends of Curves or members of the Curves team, and that's what we have today. So our friends include experts in the health and fitness field, as well as anyone we think might share a topic that would help our followers live a better life. Today, again, our special guest is Macie Lee. Macie Lee is the manager of programs and science here at Curves. Macie, can you tell them a little bit more about your background?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here today. So a bit about my background. I studied kinesiology with a concentration in athletic training, sports medicine at San Jose State University. From there, I was very fortunate to work with collegiate hockey, which then advanced me to semi-pro hockey and then professional hockey. About 18 years ago, though, I saw this ad in the paper and I was ready to make a change in my life. And I saw this ad for a new fitness center opening in my community called Curves, and it caught my attention. So I went down and met with the local owners and became manager of their 3 locations. Short time later, I ended up purchasing my own location, then became a corporate mentor. And 8 years ago, I was fortunate enough to join the corporate team. And as you say, I bleed purple ever since.
Well, we're so happy that you're here with us. But if you happen to be a Sharks fan, you can give Macie a shout out, because I think that she's one of Curves and the Sharks. Is that right, Macie? Does it go in that order?
Absolutely. Purple and teal, Curves and Sharks.
Okay. And you are so proud of me because you know that I don't know sports teams' names, and I remembered that. So I know you love the Sharks, Curves, and your horse. So I got that down. So today we're going to be talking about benefits of strength training, which is one of our favorite topics here at Curves. So in the chat, let me know if you knew this, but did you know that after the age 30, you typically lose 3 to 8% of your strength each decade? I know some of us are probably feeling that after the pandemic, especially being in the house more, sitting more, not moving as much. So atrophy or muscle wasting is caused by not using muscles enough. You can notice a decrease in muscle strength and stamina in as little as 2 weeks of not exercising. I know many of us have gone more than 2 weeks before. A recent survey stated the average person has gained 16 pounds over the past year. With our normal routines disrupted, it has been challenging for most of us to get our workouts in. Today, Macie is going to share with us some of the many benefits of strength or resistance training, like we do here at Curves. It's a great idea to get out a notepad and take some notes. So you can pause this video and go get a notepad, because I think she's going to share some great tips with you. We're going to go through these pretty quickly. If you've ever watched one of these rapid fire benefits presentations before, we are going to jump into these and go through them pretty quickly. So Macie, I know you have a list of your top 10 benefits of strength training. So let's jump in and get started with benefit number 1.
Okay, benefit number 1, and this is a big one. This is one that women are definitely looking for. Strength training will help women manage weight for a lifetime, because as you strengthen your muscles, you actually burn extra calories all day long. Muscle is the most metabolically active tissue in your body. So think of it as your body's furnace. It's always burning calories, where other tissue like fat and our organs don't burn tissue as much. So muscle, also known as lean body tissue or lean body mass, again, it's that calorie burner. It's the body's furnace. It burns almost 6 times more calories per day or per hour than fat. This is why the more muscle you have, the more calories you're burning. Think about those Olympic athletes and what they eat and how little body fat they have. It's pretty amazing. Another thing to quickly think about, though, is that our muscles require protein. So it's really important that we balance that out with our diets, but our muscles are made of protein, and that's why we need to balance that out with our diets. Fat, on the other hand, doesn't require a whole lot to maintain and stay where it's at.
Well, I've never heard it that way, Macie. Fat doesn't take a lot to maintain. It certainly does not. So that muscle is one of those master burners is great news. I'm sure most of us are interested in burning additional calories. I don't know anybody who's like, yeah, I don't really want to burn any additional calories. Weight management is always a hot topic for us here at Curves, but strength training has so many more benefits other than just weight loss. Let's move on to benefit 2. So number 2, strength training can help you lose more fat. Research shows that strength training can be a positive effect on preventing increases in body fat if associated with a healthy nutrition program. So number 1 and 2 go very closely together. So Macie, let's go on to number 3. Will you tell us more about the third benefit of strength training?
Absolutely. So number 3, strength training will make your entire body stronger, not just the muscles that you're actively engaging. So as a result, this makes everyday activities much easier. Personally, I love to travel. So it's really important for me to be strong so that I can carry my bags through the airport and even better, lift those heavy bags into the overhead bin without having to ask for help. So that's really important. Strength training gives me the power I need to help me go sightseeing, whether that's powering upstairs or just going on a hike. It gives me the energy I need.
I love that. The strength training workouts that we do here at Curves help us get out there and live our best Curves life. I've heard so many of these stories through these podcasts. So shameless plug for this podcast. Go back and listen to all of the great things these women do because of their strength training workouts. So if you're doing strength training, share with us in the chat something you've been able to do because of your Curves workouts. And again, I'm going to go with what Macie just said. And I travel about 2 weeks a month. And I just started traveling again after COVID. And I was really surprised some of the muscle mass I had lost about lifting that suitcase over your head. You do not realize how heavy that suitcase is, and that it's so important that we keep those workouts going so that we can be independent and do the things that we want to do. So Macie, number 4.
All right, number 4. Strength training or resistance training will help you reduce the risk of diabetes. Adult onset diabetes is a growing problem. It's actually been referred to as an epidemic. Research has indicated that strength training on a regular basis can improve glucose utilization, which means your body is utilizing the sugar within your bloodstream much more effectively, and therefore not having to rely on insulin. When you're performing strength training or resistance training, your body, as I mentioned, will use that glucose to fuel your muscles while you're working. And this leads me right into number 5 as well, stronger bones. At about age 21, the body has established all of the bone mineral that you will ever have. That is, unless you are strength training and resistance training. Strength training is a powerful tool against osteoporosis. As you strength train, your body increases the blood flow to the muscles being used, which therefore bring nutrients in. As that blood flow is coming into those muscles and into those tendons, you're increasing the nutrients. But because those muscles are connected to the bones via tendons, the bones also get the benefit. That nutrients also just goes right over to the bones and helps them make them stronger as well.
That is so interesting, Macie. So if you are concerned about breaking a bone or osteoporosis, would you give us a comment or a like on this post? And did you know that 1 in 2 women age 50 or older will break a bone due to osteoporosis? I did not know that until Macie and I put this presentation together. So 54 million Americans have osteoporosis and low bone mass. So we have already sped through the first 5 benefits of strength training. Macie, do we want to go back and review what those 5 are? Just say them again real quickly in case anybody missed them.
Absolutely. So number 1 and number 2 are closely related. Strength training can help you manage your weight, but it can also help you lose weight because muscle is the most metabolically active tissue in the body. Number 3 is that strength training helps strengthen your entire body. Even if if you work on your arms, you're still strengthening that entire body, and that's real important to live an active lifestyle. Number 4, it helps reduce your risk of diabetes. And number 5 can help reduce the risk of osteoporosis.
All right, that gets us caught up to number 6. So Macie, tell us what number 6 is.
Number 6 is that strength training or resistance training can help fight heart disease. Strength training can improve your cholesterol profile as well as your blood pressure, according to recent research. And because strength training increases lean muscle mass, it gives your cardiovascular system places to send blood when being pumped, which means those arteries become much more pliable, which helps reduce the chances of a heart-related problem. Of course, exercise should always include, though, cardiovascular training and flexibility training.
All right. Did you know that cardiovascular disease are the #1 cause of death globally? So more people die annually from cardiovascular disease than from any other cause. That means 1 in 4 deaths are caused by heart disease. The good news, heart disease can be prevented when people make healthy choices and manage their health conditions. Communities like Curves can work together to create opportunities for people to make healthier choices. All right, let's jump into number 7, Macie.
Did you know that strength training can help arthritis? Most people think if they have arthritis that the last thing they want to do is be mobile, but actually evidence has shown that strength training is beneficial for people living with arthritis because it helps strengthen the muscles around those joints. So the stronger those muscles are around the joints, the less pressure that's actually being placed on the joint itself. Huge win. And then number 8, that takes me right to number 8, and that is strength training will help you be a better athlete. And I know some of you go, I'm not an athlete, I don't play sports. I'm going to tell you, we are all athletes and we are all playing the game of life right now. Walking, golf, tennis, even playing with your kids, that's being an athlete. So whatever your sport, strength training can help increase your proficiency and reduce your risk of injury.
I love that Macie, that we're all athletes. In fact, if you are a Curves member, could you tell us in the chat something that you're able to do in your life because of your workouts at Curves? And like Macie said, it could be anything: cross-country skiing, golfing, tennis, going to amusement parks with your kids or grandkids. Share with us in the chat some of the things you're able to do because of your strength training workouts at Curves. All right, up to number 9. We're almost at the end of the list.
These are coming quick, but strength training will benefit you no matter how old you are. It's never too late to start. Studies have shown that strength training can make improvements on people no matter your age, which is so exciting.
So I love this one. There is no age limit to get started. I do have a question for you. Do you have to lift heavy weights for strength training to be effective? I know a lot of the things that we see on the internet nowadays, Macie, is women our age or older flipping huge tires or lifting huge weights. Is that necessary to get the results that you're talking about?
No, and I'm glad you mentioned that because when most people think strength training, the first thing they think of is like bodybuilders, or as you were mentioning, people flipping tires, CrossFitters. But the definition of strength training is really simply an exercise that overloads the muscle with slightly more weight or resistance than it's used to, therefore causing it to gain strength. So at Curves, we accomplish our strength training through our hydraulic equipment. And for my Curves on Demand, we accomplish it with the Curves resistance band.
Awesome. So I got a drum roll for you. We have one more benefit. Share with us number 10.
Number 10 is that strength training can help improve your mental health. Who knew not only was it good for the body, but it's also good for the brain? Strength training can have a positive effect on alleviating symptoms of depression and anxiety. There are several studies that have been conducted on this topic to help us better understand how. So our bodies operate in two nervous systems, the sympathetic nervous system known as the fight or flight, and the parasympathetic nervous system known as the rest and digest. And so when we exercise, and in particular when we strength train, our bodies move to the sympathetic nervous system, that fight or flight. This will cause adrenal hormones to be released, our heart rates to be increased. But as we return to a normal pattern after a workout, this causes our endorphins to be released, the feel-good hormone. It also moves us to the parasympathetic nervous system to help actually bring us back to that rest and digest. Strength training also mimics many of the symptoms with anxiety, such as increased heart rate, increased breathing, and sweating. So this can make managing these symptoms much easier when you're not exercising.
I love that last one. It is amazing hearing the stories we have on our podcast of how many women came to Curves to help them manage stress and mental health. So it's such an all 10 super important, but I love that last one. So share with us in the comments what benefits you personally experienced from strength training. I don't know why it's so hard to say those two words to get together, but it certainly is, especially at the end of the day here. So share with us in the comments anything that you personally experienced. It could be one of the 10. It could be something else maybe that we didn't mention, but we want to thank you for joining us today. If you want more information about Curves, please go to curves.com. You'll find a wealth of information about our programs on our website. We provide so many ways to help you strength train. So number one, our in-club experience on the Curves circuit, which Macie spoke a little bit about. And then if there's not a Curves in your area, we do have a new at-home experience with My Curves On Demand. Or of course, the perfect marriage, a combination of both. So an in-club membership and a membership to My Curves On Demand. So thank you again for joining us. You can find more information on curves.com. Please get in some strength training today. Have a fantastic day. Thank you.